everyone, it's Will or TubeMix here, either will do. And so it's time for the second of these 3 episodes of the upload of Without Having Kicked a Ball. And in this episode we welcome back Jordan All Jelly Wheels. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome back to Without Having Kicked a Ball. This is a voice you've not heard in a while. Hello, how's it going? Yes, we're here again, and today we're going to switch the format up a little bit because you may or may not know, unless you've been living under a rock, it is EFL final day tomorrow, which means that what we're going to do in today's show is discuss the season as a whole, talk about some permutations, best teams, worst teams, whatever, and a little bit of our usual Premier League sprinkled in towards the end. Let's introduce the rest of the team. Joining us is the man whose channel this is on, Mr. TubeMix. Hello.
Hello there, Jord. Good to have you back, and hello everybody. And yep, let's crack on. Another great edition of the show.
And also introducing the Jason Tyndall to my Eddie Howe, Mr. Sam Taylor. Hello, mate.
Hello, and yes, your systems are all fine. Don't worry, you don't need to take your computers apart. This is Jordan, the EFL guru, is back. Woo!
Yes, so yeah, that's what we're doing. Hello, boys. Let's crack on. I'm a little bit disappointed. Me calling Sam the Jason Tyndall to my Eddie Howe didn't get much more of a reaction, but oh well.
But listen, Eddie Howe's been missing for most of the
Well,
season.
that's what I would call you. You're like my flashy assistant who does all the
No,
talking,
I've been
and
the
I'm the
manager.
real tactical genius.
I've been the manager because the permanent manager's been unavailable.
Just like Jason Tyndall when Eddie Howe left Bournemouth, you've done a shit job, and I'm back to sort it out.
Well, I haven't done a shit job, have I? Well, I've kept it going.
Yeah,
well, what's been going on with the EFL in? What's been going on with the EFL in my stead? Fuck all. That's right, Jason Tyndall,
Well,
not Eddie Howe.
No, I
dipping our toe into the EFL waters.
I did do the permutations last week. I did miss one out, admittedly, but
Well, okay, Jason. Anyway, we'll crack on, and I want to start at the bottom, really. For a few reasons. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, we knew we're going to be down pretty much. Well, I'm not going to say straight away because I'm not going to say we knew they were down straight away because, funnily enough, talking about Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall, it was Eddie Howe that overcame a minus 12 point deduction. It might even have been more than that. I can't quite remember, but it is doable to overcome. With a good team.
Just so you know, because it's a bit rusty, he is talking about the championship here, where we start.
Yeah, we're going to crack and we're going to... Well, you know what, Jason, sure. We'll start there. We kind of, it's going to be tough. It's not a great team. They've got a minus 15-point deduction in League One next season.
Wow.
And that just leaves them with a lot to do. But I think the idea of getting away from Chancery is better than nothing. They've got a few bits and pieces of players where you think, there's a few faces, a few things where you might say maybe, if that person can do well or that person can do well. It probably is sort of a League One, League Two level squad at current, so we'll see. But obviously, again, just a quick brush on them. More because, we already kind of knew about them. Above them is probably the shock. So we'll leave that to last and talk about Matt Bloomfield's Oxford United. They really, really found their feet, I feel, in these last few weeks of the season. And that obviously they beat Charlton on Saturday. They fought really hard, and I feel if they keep hold of Matt Bloomfield, which knowing football nowadays, they probably won't. But I feel like they're in a good place to do well next season. I just feel a bit like, you know, in the championship, it's very easy for a bad run to define a season more than any. Obviously we're Alex fans, and in League Two you can have 4 good weeks and go from sort of 15th to like 6th, whereas like the Championship is an unforgiving mistress, isn't it? Really,
It's a hard
um,
league, it is.
and I think that it,
Just leagues in world football.
and I think that although Gary Rowett didn't necessarily do a terrible job, I think obviously that Matt Bloomfield came in to the Championship with Oxford with a hell of a lot to do. And again, they performed admirably, and I hope that that means that he gets a chance, because we like former EFL players and young English managers definitely getting the chance.
I think just as a comparison, I think Matt Bloomfield has done a similar job to what Rob Edwards has done in the last few months of showing some real fight. So Wolves, I know that's in a different division, but similar kind of scenario where you hope they stick with their managers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So something to lay the foundations on, I guess. Then
and we'll see. They've got a solid enough squad to build on for next year. So we'll see. And obviously, you know, talking of Gary Rowett and Oxford, Gary Rowett and Leicester
yes.
have it's back-to-back relegations. It's an absolute travesty.
It's so sad. I mean, sorry to cut you off there, Joe, but
No, it's fine, mate.
it just, yeah, it 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 doesn't sit well with me. I know that there's been issues behind the scenes. I don't think King Power have recovered. The owners of Leicester have recovered since the pandemic and how that hit them. And the club has suffered. But with the squad they had, there's no way. And you can't even blame the 6 point deduction they had, because they should have been nowhere near that relegation fight. But 10 years on from the greatest moment of our lifetime in football,
One of the moments that got me back into football, I think.
in terms of miracles, along with obviously Greece winning the Euros. Not that we remember that, but it's 10 years on from that. It should be a celebration, and yet they're preparing for life in League One. And what's really sad for me, and I'm not at Leicester every week, so I'm not gonna have a go at the fans, because I'm sure they've got the reasons. There's the toxicity that seems to exist between Leicester City fans and Kuntop, who's getting really going through a tough time at the minute, and it's just so sad to see. I love Leicester, and I know you have connections, George, with Leicester. I think everybody is connected with Leicester now, and I almost, when I watched them and they got relegated, I almost I felt very emotional about it. I really did, and I'm not even a Leicester fan, so
It's one of those things, and I'll admit that one of the reasons that we are where we are as a show, and I haven't been around for a while, is life starts to get in the way. I've got a very busy work schedule, and I've sort of within that I've sort of dropped off football a little bit. So the last time I remember properly sort of being invested this season was probably about a month or two ago, and Leicester are only like 2 points off it. So then, like over the last couple of weeks, where I've sort of been getting back into things as we're heading towards the running, and we're obviously knee deep in the running now. and Leicester were like 8 points clear of safety. You're like, what the hell has happened here? Like, it's an absolute mess. And then I saw videos of Harry Winks having a go at the fans, and um, yeah, there's a lot going on there, and it's a squad that I
Oh, I
really
heard about that.
fear.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a squad that I really fear for because, like, I know for a fact that, like, I know I'm not quoting exact figures, so I don't know, but what I've seen reported is, you've got guys like, I think Patson Daka's on 80 grand a week.
Is he
Harry
still
Winks
there?
is something
Wow.
like
Yeah.
80 grand a week. Like like the club will, like, it needs sorting out and quick, and that those players need to go because Leicester will die in League One with a wage budget like that.
What do you think about with the I know there's criticism and I understand it because of where the club's gone from and to, but how do you feel about the Leicester fans? And again, I understand we're not, full Leicester fans. We don't go every week. But do what do you think about the criticism of comes up? Because I do understand it, I do, but then at the same time, I think that football fans have very short memories, and
Well, that
you
Yeah,
yeah,
know,
but then, like, football fans are like that, and it's understandable because they've gone from the basically back at square one with
they went
yes,
from
the
the
King
highest
Power group
heights to the
because
lowest lows.
because
Yeah.
obviously when King Power took over, don't know whether it is that exact season, but it or the season after, but when King Power took over, Leicester were in League One.
yes, but but
So,
but
and actually,
yeah.
that Leicester in League One squad was probably in a better position than this because of the natural progression of football. Because even top level championship players, 15, 16 years ago, when Leicester were in the were in League One or in the champ, would have been on 30 grand at the most, right? Maybe more, 40. Now they're on double that because apparently there's at least four first team players on 80 grand plus at Leicester, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
It
I
is.
mean, they will be saved kind of a little bit by the fact that obviously they'll still be getting parachute payments from the Premier League. Um, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's not like a Luton where they were probably still paying modest wages even in the Prem. It's more
Mm.
panic than maybe we've ever seen before.
And you think 4 years ago they were preparing for an FA Cup final? And now
Yeah.
that we beat Chelsea, and now look where they are in a 4 year cycle in a leap year. Just quickly on that again, though, George. I was listening to Gary Lineker, who is you know, a diehard Leicester fan, and he was saying, as awful as it is, if you'd have offered a Leicester fan 10 years, not 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that we were going to go from League One into the Premiership, survive miraculously, and then
Champions League,
win the
Europa League.
Premier League,
Yeah.
have Champions League nights, and then win the FA Cup and more European nights, and then ultimately go back down to where they are, they would have bitten your hand off for it, he said.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say that with hindsight. Like again, coming from somebody like a Gary Lineker, he's a diehard Leicester fan, and
Well, and he
sometimes
played for the club as well. So
and sometimes, like you said, like they're relegated now. There's nothing you can do, so it's easy to either look at it like, oh my god, this is a disaster, or oh my god, this is a disaster. But look what the journey we've been on. I remember having a conversation 3 or 4 years ago, and you might have been there with me. I don't know. I don't think you were actually. I think it was just me and Rob, uh, our friend, of course, that's been on the show a couple of times. And we have a Leicester supporting friend called Kev, and he come up to me and Rob, and he said, and we asked, what do you think about Leicester this season? And he said, oh, I think we'll go down. He said the club's got no money. He said Top basically pulled loads of money out of the club to pay King Power's debts.
Because of COVID, I think.
And that was, I think they stayed up that season and then went down the next.
They finished 8th and then.
So I think Leicester fans have always been, were pretty much aware straight away as soon as post-pandemic came. It would, to be honest, it would leave a bitter taste in any fan's mouth. It leaves a bit of a bitter taste in a neutral's mouth as well. That a club can go from being Premier League winners and sustaining as a Premier League side, Champions League quarter finalists, FA Cup winners, Community Shield winners,
top six side.
It leaves a very bitter taste because that you have to be doing something deadly wrong as an owner and as a footballing collective from a higher up point of view.
I
agree, but do you also feel for top in terms of, for those of you that don't know, Leicester are owned by King Power, who sell duty-free products at airports and places like that. And then obviously for the best part of 2 years, because of COVID, that completely stopped. So you could argue that the seeds of this, I know he's taking money out of the club, but the seeds of it have been out of his control. His whole business model has been destroyed almost by the pandemic.
But it's again, this is the difficulty of it, which is twofold. Which is from a footballing point of view, I can understand a lot more people going, oh well, this is where we were and this is where we should be, because there are remnants of Leicester's. In fact, most of that team is still the squad that Leicester had in the Premier League.
Yes.
So I get that completely. From the point of view of Top and the running of the club, it's, you can have sympathy for the fact that stopped and they had to pull money out of the club, whatever. But then I think it kind of shines a light on maybe how badly things were being run at that point. Because if you have to take money out and you're in a situation where then like the overall structure of the club starts to collapse, how sustainable actually was the model they were working with?
Well, isn't that bad running of the club?
Yes.
Is that bad running of the club, or could you flip that and say, well, their business model was completely destroyed by COVID, which was a worldwide pandemic, and nobody could have seen that coming.
If there was people,
I think it might be a bit of both. I think
if there was people, if there was people running the football operations side to the level that we thought they were, which is again, we held them in high regard as the most, probably one of the, like, they bought like Harry Maguire, sold him off for loads of money, Kante, Mahrez.
Chelsea,
they did very well and scouted very well and continued to do so for quite a while, even post the Premier League win.
Maddison as well.
Maddison, Dewsbury Hall, but But yeah, that's my opinion, and that's
Mahrez
not
as well.
necessarily.
Yeah, Riyad
It,
Mahrez.
it is Top's fault, and also
Probably right.
it isn't, because if you're the owner and you then put in a football structure, or you've got, let's say, an intermediary between you as an owner and then the football side, if you put somebody in charge that can't take the resources that were already there at Leicester and make it work, even though there was substantial amounts of money taken out, then you don't really deserve to be in the Premier League.
So you're saying, so what you're saying is you understand that King Power are in a difficult situation, but if they'd have been run better, then they might have not been able to buy as much.
Yeah, I'm
Know
saying
that,
that
but
things that are outside of the owner's control, i.e., the pandemic, probably exposed how probably exposed a lot of cracks in Leicester's football operations,
but
and that.
if you were running a duty-free company,
No, I don't. Again, I like, the point I'm trying to make is I don't really care about that, because for
well,
me,
that's the seed of the
for
whole
me, yeah, no,
thing.
but for me, if they were as good an ownership group as they thought they were, and they definitely were under Vishay, then they should have been able to still have managed to a decent standard, surely, without money to invest. Because
Right. So
that's
you're saying a
because
slight drop off would have been acceptable because of the situation, but to tumble the way they have is
yeah,
inexcusable.
it points out flaws, and the massive flaws in Leicester's football operations model. Like, and in some ways, if you can't, if your football operations is not aligned with an ownership that have struggled basically since COVID, money wise,
Which,
then
yeah,
you
you're gonna get nowhere, are you? You're
then
gonna be struggling.
you sort of reap what you sow, really. I mean, you also look at Leicester and look at the, like, I remember joking years ago about how basically that squad had been the same since they came up to the Premier League, and basically as they lost parts of that Premier League winning team, they got sort of weaker and weaker. Like, I remember, do you remember when they've also spent a lot of money on players that just didn't work? Like, do you remember
Isn't it?
Rashid Ghazal,
Gazelle,
Islam Suleimani,
Slimani,
Adrian Silva.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's one massive sort of big money signing that flopped, that's in their starting 11 now. Patson
Oh,
Daka.
yeah, I was gonna say Dhaka. Yeah. You'd say what's his name wasn't up to any of the standard wow Faz.
Yeah, I'd say you could say the same thing about Winks and Skip, and Winks was an England international.
Yeah, and a, a big player for Tottenham as well.
I don't think I think Hermansen was a great goalkeeper, but I don't think they're like the keepers that they've had in the championship. I know one of them is Asmir Begovic, but he's like nearly 40 and
He's
doesn't play that
still
much.
playing. Wow.
So you're gonna get rusty. But I don't think Stolarczyk's that great, and they never really have. And I didn't understand really why they kept all their eggs in one basket with Stolarczyk anyway. Um, I
Will
know
they
I've seen.
bounce back? Will they bounce back?
Uh, no, no, I don't see it.
So you don't mean they'll go straight back up now?
No, I
Will
think
they
they'll
get
get.
relegated again?
No, I sort of see them being like a Luton. I sort of see them being, because I genuinely think, and I think that squad's going to get absolutely gutted.
I agree.
I think there's too many players on massive money to keep any of them around. It's like Jack Rodwell being for Sunderland
Sunderland.
in League One. for like 75 grand a week. And I was listening to, oh God, who was it? Who
Was
the
it the guy
hell?
on? Was it the guy on the under the cot?
Yeah, there was a,
And he was saying about Jack Rodwell being in like not playing in the championship and then League One, and everybody turned against him, kind of thing.
yeah. So I was listening to an interview with Billy Jones, who, as Crew fans, we should know very well.
Yeah.
Billy Jones obviously started a Crew, scored an absolute wonder goal as a 16-year-old, moved to Preston for 2.8 million, ended up playing Sunderland, West Brom, Sunderland, Rotherham, and then Crew again. I'll tell you some stories actually. Once we finish this about, because that was a fascinating interview and lots of stuff about Crew, and it was not great. But he was basically saying, because obviously Rodwell got brought up, and that they were basically. He was basically saying that the club had sort of forced him to say that he was injured because his contract was like incentivized with like appearance fees and stuff. So like with them being in League One, like they literally couldn't afford to play him.
Blimey.
And I get the feeling, by the way, there'll be a few of those in League One if Leicester, there'll be a few of those for Leicester in League One.
Well, they'll
Yeah.
leave, won't they? A lot of them. Ricardo Pereira will probably go. I would
Well,
imagine.
Ricardo Pereira,
He said today he's going.
that's what I was going to
Has he
say.
said he's going? Oh, right. Sorry. Okay.
Ricardo Pereira is going.
Right.
Was something I was actually going to say, but so
I unintentionally
yeah,
beat you to
it's
it.
it's going to be a fascinating season next year, and
Yes.
I'm
the real
hopeful
question,
to.
so is John Rudkin gonna go? Do we think?
Director of football, who everybody hates at Leicester, including Leicester players, could do. We'll have to see. I think he's
John
got quite.
Rudkin who helped the team assemble the team that won the title? Was that him that did that?
No, I don't think it was him. I think it won it Paul Mitchell.
Oh
Or
no, was it Steve Walsh?
Steve Walsh.
Wasn't it? That was right.
No,
Yeah.
he
Steve
was
Walsh.
a scout. He was a scout,
Oh,
not
he's a scout.
director.
Right, okay.
Was he director
Yeah,
of football?
Steve Walsh was the chief scout, but I'm trying to think who the guy who built the squad was. It definitely wasn't Rudkin, because Leicester fans
okay.
hate Rudkin. They absolutely despise John Rudkin. Mostly, I imagine, because he's brought in a load of shit that hasn't performed for them. But what can you say? Anyway,
Shall we move on?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll move on, and we'll just talk about a couple of clubs in mid-table that maybe
people that's just about survived.
Yeah, well, there's a few of those. Obviously, one that always catches my eye is Blackburn Rovers. They obviously they sacked their previous manager, Valerian Ismail.
Good riddance. Terrible manager.
You hate him, don't you?
And brought
I
in
don't
Michael.
hate him. It's just
and they brought in Michael O'Neill, who has juggled Northern Ireland and Blackburn.
That is insanity, juggling.
And to be honest, has done enough to keep them in the league. So you can't say that much about it, really.
I think it's weird that Blackburn are letting him carry on with Ireland, but I've always liked Michael O'Neill. I think he's a really good manager, and I think, yes, it didn't quite work out at Stoke. I was really excited when he got the Stoke job, but it's not worked out for many people at Stoke in recent years.
Well, yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah.
so I think he is a really good manager.
Yeah, I do as well. I think it's a great appointment, and they've done decently. It would be remiss of me to not mention West Brom. They had a 2-point deduction confirmed.
James Morrison's been announced permanently as their head coach. I saw.
God, he's doing his job for me. How have you let the EFL go to so much shit? If Will's been on the boil like this, on the ball like this, sorry. Yeah, they've survived. James Morrison has done a decent job. Gets rewarded with the manager's job permanently. Although again, we'll have to see. I like it. I like what I've seen from him while he's been the manager. So we'll go on with that.
Doesn't he, as well?
It's interesting with West Brom because they had a great start under Ryan Mason at the start of the season, and then it all kind of fell apart, and he lost his job, and then another guy came.
Was appointed, yeah.
Eric Ramsey, I kept saying Aaron Ramsey, but it was Eric. Yeah. And I'd never heard of him, so it was a bit of a gamble, and then Morrison's coming after that, has he? Was he the next one?
He was the interim.
Yeah.
And now he's
obviously got the job. Quick mention for Charlton, they've stayed up. Good job by Nathan Jones. I think there were points in the season where they've looked a little bit better than their final position. There's also points in the season where they've looked a lot worse, similar to Portsmouth, whose run of form towards the end of the season basically, the run of form in this running has basically kept them in the league again. It's great. It's not the greatest squad, but there's a manager there that is doing a really good job. Disappointing season for Stoke. Started incredibly well, dropped off once the drop off started, it was a very quick drop off and a very sharp drop off. They'll probably stick with Mark Robbins because he is still a good manager, and Stoke have been a mid-table championship side for a few years now.
Not lower.
Yeah, it'll be all right. They could probably do with a bit of investment in the summer. In my opinion, it's not a great squad. Watford, they again started well. Were doing very well until Javi Gracia left. They brought in Ed Still, the brother of Will Still, and they've been a little bit up and down. It's a very young squad, Watford.
A little bit still, haven't they? They've just not moved much.
I wonder whether after a summer of some of the players maturing and a decent summer of recruitment, they could be something.
Well, they've had three managers again this year, and who did they start the season with? I can't remember his name.
Paolo Pezzolano.
Yeah, so they've had three managers again, standard for Watford.
Well, yeah, Watford go through a lot of managers.
But they can't do you much good.
I'm quite surprised, to be honest with you, that the Pozzos haven't got involved again, even though they have done slightly better since Ed Still's come in. Quick word on Sheffield United. Ruben Sayers, probably one of the worst championship appointments in a while.
Yeah.
Completely destroyed their season after only
5 games.
5 or 6 games. Sacked. Chris Wilder comes in, steadies the ship. It's not quite as good a squad as he's had in recent years, so they are there or thereabouts.
Will they sack him at the end of the season?
No, I think based on what other managers have done when he's not been there, I think he is absolutely safe as houses, to be honest with you.
If they can't rely on him forever, they've got to work out a way how to survive without him someday.
I also think though, well, that was very cynical.
Oh, sorry.
Um, I also think that he did an interview where he said, "I know exactly which players I want to keep and who will be going, and mark my words, we will be challenging next season."
He
We
knows
will
what to
see.
do, Wilder. I'll give him that. So,
He basically said some of these players will stay, some will go. I know exactly who's going, and he was basically taking the clubs by the horn and saying, "Right, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're
so
going to do it."
we'll continue on. QPR under Julian Stefan have been a really strange prospect. Some games they look great, some games they look absolutely terrible. But
Where are we in
that's
the table now? What position?
we are 14th.
And right, okay, they don't have anything to play for
Yeah,
now.
no, I'll mention positions and permutations when we get there.
Okay.
This is just so everybody knows. This is with one game left of the championship season.
I mean, I
Um,
did say that. I said it's final day
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
But the bottom three is confirmed as the bottom three that will go down. Carry on.
All right, Jason. You let Eddie do all the managing. Um, moving on because there's not that much to say about QPR really. I think Julien Stefan has actually done a pretty decent job considering it's his first year. Um, but again, we'll see because he had a really big reputation for bringing through guys like Camavinga and like Camavinga at Rennes. So a very good youth developer. So we'll see with that one. Moving up a position, we've got Bristol City. They did very good work with Gerhard Struber. I felt he came out publicly a number of times and criticised the board.
Oh, which
It was
never
getting to
ends
the
up well for you if you do that.
it was getting to a point where he had to go, and he did. He walked.
Do we know
Um,
why? Do we know why he criticised the board?
I think he wanted a bit more backing in terms of signings, and I think he wasn't very happy with some of the things that were going on. One of the strangest kind of appointments, really, I say strange but not strange, was Roy
Roy Hodgson.
Hodgson coming back, and he's done brilliantly for them. Um, I think they went the first 3 or 4 games under an unbeaten. I'm pretty sure they've only lost once
Can I
since
just
he's
say, I
come in.
really, sorry to interrupt, I really admire him. You know, they asked him, the reporter asked him, you know, in the interview, is there any conversation, if this goes really well, that you'll do it permanently? And he said, like, no chance, I'm too old, so yeah, I admire him
Loved
for
it, loved it. I
yeah.
very recently listened to a 2-part interview with him.
He'd
Um,
be a terrible politician, Hodgson, because yeah, he's very straight talking then.
I listened to a 2-part interview with him with Gary Lineker the other day, and I just thought to myself, like, you are some guy, like you really brilliant. I'm just gonna interrupt our regular programming just to say, Sam, have you got Calvert Lewin in your fantasy team?
No, I took him out.
That's a bad choice. He's just scored.
Oh, Jesus.
It's 3-0 now.
3-0? Oh, wow, blimey.
Yeah. Moving on. Preston are the next team up. They have had a really weird season and have kind of stabilised in mid-table. They were third, as high up as third in parts of this season and the early parts. They had a terrible run towards the middle, and then they've kind of restabilised again. Not too much to say about them. Hackingbottom doing I feel an okay job.
Yeah, at least they're off the
Bless me.
bottom under Hecking bottom.
Yeah, that's true, and they don't get a lot of money or really that much financial help there. So I
He's the
think to
best
be
thing
where
in
they are,
Liverpool, Heckingbottom.
to be there is doing a really good job.
Yeah,
Probably
it's one of my one of my regrets that while I lived in Preston at uni, I didn't go to Deepdale. Should have gone.
I can't believe you never did.
No,
Silly boy. Silly boy.
I do regret it, to be fair.
Moving on, and it's quite funny because we've got two of my sort of big championship talking points next to each other in the table, and the first one
Oh, this'll be
is
nice.
Birmingham, and I was quite bullish at the start of the season that Birmingham could make a promotion charge. It's not.
I still think it's been a good season for them, though, coming up and consolidating.
Yeah, but I think that when you're spending 25 million on one player in League One, I think
Yeah, but still, they are. You know, they've come up after being relegated. I think the season before into League One, they came straight back up and have done
I think I think I
respectable.
think I think objectively it's a decent season. But I think when you look at the stuff behind it, i.e. the ownership group, the amount of money spent in the championship and in League One as well, which was obviously record breaking, that you can't help but be a little bit disappointed if you were a Birmingham fan. However, you know, I understand the opinion that it's a good season. Moving on then to, I mean,
Is Chris Davis safe to you for another season?
it's an interesting question because I don't know really.
Or do they move in a different direction? If it depends how the
I
ownership view it, don't they? Really?
I would keep hold of him. Whether the ownership will view it that way, I don't know.
What
I think
would you
maybe
do, Will?
Well, I mean, if if he's sort of managed to keep them, you know, you said they got relegated, you know, recently. Like, what was it? Last season, you said.
The
season
season
before,
Oh,
before.
the season
yeah,
before. Um,
that was when they had, you know, they had John Eustace. They sacked him and they were fifth. They brought Wayne Rooney in. They tailed off. They
oh yeah.
brought Gary Rowett in.
Oh yeah,
Didn't they
yeah,
have
yeah.
dead
That's
Tony
right.
Mowbray as well at some point, didn't they, as well? And he obviously went off to get treatment for
Yeah, blimey,
cancer.
seems like they wanted to break Watford's record for most managers.
Um,
Yeah, no, well, no, I'd probably keep him. A bit of a stability, really, when they've had lots of.
yeah, I think, do you know what it is, honestly, like, as a serious thing, I think that they've got a manager who brought them up and did good things with them, and then it's just about kind of they've still progressed. So for me, it would be, can they move then into this next season and progress
Can
still?
can can he
But
make? Can the club make that next step? Yeah.
but I just have this feeling that this current ownership group, I don't know. I don't know whether some of these Americans look at like a Wrexham story and want results quick. I don't know. There's something about, even though they've progressed and it's been an okay season, there's something about the sheer amount of money that's been spent on building that squad that makes me think they should have done a lot better.
Well, the proof will be in the pudding.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving on from one of my biggest disappointments to one of my biggest surprises, which I'm going to say is both a disappointment and a surprise. There's Norwich City. They had what was his name? Liam Manning. Liam Manning at the start of the season. He did
Won a
terribly.
home game, did they, in about 12
No,
games?
he did terribly. They brought in the former Rangers and Monaco manager Philippe Clement.
Who
I
I
think
really like,
I
actually.
think at the time all three of us really liked it. If I remember rightly, all three of us liked the appointment. And for once, because we've made some pretty bad takes on this show over the years, for once we were proved right. He's done an absolutely fantastic job, and it's only
They were
been.
about 20. They were in the relegation zone, weren't they, when he took over, or just outside of it? I can't
I think
remember.
they were. I think they were second bottom, obviously, because of
Yeah, yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday. So
So
yeah,
to finish what 11,
they've
10,
ended up finishing ninth. It'll be.
which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's solid, and it's been a kind of a slow build up and progression, and they've got there. So let's get now to teams with something to play for. I think it's a shame Norwich haven't got there. They deserved it. The last few games, the results have just tailed off a little bit. It happens.
But
It's
their fans have got to be very happy from where they were.
Yeah, it's an incredible effort from where they were to get to where they are, but it's a huge club, Norwich, um, as we know. So
Just go on, just so we know before you
I'm
carry on.
I'm
Carry
gonna
on.
go from the bottom from the top of this group downwards. Ipswich are on 81 points and need a win no matter what to secure Premier League
Yeah.
promotion.
Top two go up, by the way, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 are in playoffs.
God, Jason, you're doing Maiden. Um,
Just so people are aware, because it's different in League One and League Two. So yeah.
so Millwall in third are on 80 points. Middlesbrough in fourth are on 79 points. Southampton in fifth are on 77. Wrexham and Hull are joint on 70 and 70 points each, respectively, in sixth and seventh. And the only other team outside of the top six that can that can have a say is John Eustace's Derby team. So, playoffs wise, we'll start there. Confirmed for the playoffs, definitely minimum are Ipswich, Millwall, and Middlesbrough. And then the only team that are in the playoffs but can't drop out or go up are fifth place Southampton. And then sixth place Wrexham take the last playoff spot currently, but are only there on goal difference from Hull. A goal different, one goal difference, by the way. And Derby are 1 point off the playoffs, and actually have the same goal difference as Hull. So let's say Wrexham lose, Hull lose. No, yeah, let's say let Wrexham lose, Hull draw, and Derby win. Derby will be in the playoffs. Or Derby win, Derby draw, Hull draw, depending on what the score is. Derby will get into the playoffs.
How about
So
how about if Derby draw, Hull lose, and Wrexham lose?
if Derby draw, Hull lose, and Wrexham lose,
Yeah.
depending on the score, Derby will get in.
It then comes down to goal difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Things to keep an eye on. There's one big fixture here. Really, well, I'll say two because I think one is quite difficult. Hull play Norwich at. I was going to say the KC, but it's not called the KC anymore. It's called the MKM Stadium. That's obviously a 12:30 kickoff. Hull at home against a very strong and mostly informed Norwich team that will be very tough to beat. And the big one for the playoffs sees Wrexham host Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough needing to win to keep themselves in the automatic promotion conversation.
Yeah.
And
But
Wrexham.
they of course will are in the playoffs. Wrexham obviously also need to win to absolutely guarantee a playoff spot.
I'd love to see Wrexham, in the Premier League.
I think they. What? Okay, I'll ask. Right, Will would love to see it. Sam, how do you think Wrexham would do in the Prem?
Personally, I think they've had brilliant progression. I saw not that it goes very far, but at the start of the season, the supercomputer had them, which
Opta.
kind of run simulations as to how all the teams will do several times. Or based on the data, had them I think had them in the relegation zone or just above the relegation zone. So before a ball was kicked. So the fact that I know we can't go on supercomputers, but the fact that they are where they are, having had three, let's not forget, a quadruple promotion. So they
That's it.
sorry, not quadruple, triple promotion, a hat trick of promotions. Going for the quadruple. They won the National League. I think they then won League Two and came second in League One. So three promotions in a row. Aiming to do a quadruple would be
Be a
unbelievable.
fantastic
And
achievement.
however, however, if you progress too quickly, no matter how much money you've got, in my opinion, the step to I know they get different players in, but to step up again as a football club for years running, I'm not sure they're ready for that yet.
It's
So,
do you know
so I think they would
Icarus?
go. I think they go straight back down
Do
if
you
they
know?
came.
Do you know the story of Icarus?
Story of who?
Icarus.
No.
He flew too close to the sun.
Greek mythology, blimey.
I, and that's what I well done, Will. Yeah, Greek. Yeah, um, and that's
Good.
what that's what I think. That's really surprised me. And that's what I think Wrexham is. I think that it's all well and good, but I think that they will come crashing down with a bump.
I mean,
If
Because
they,
I'm not saying they won't be ready for the Premier League at some point, but I think to keep going up at the rapid rate they have, I can't see them staying up next year. Maybe in a couple of years' time when they've had another year or 2 years in the championship, then yeah. But what do you think, George?
yeah. What do you think about? I completely agree, and the thing that you say about maybe having a few years in the championship to consolidate and build an even stronger team, I think like that's what we're seeing with Leeds, and we're seeing that like right now
because
with it.
Oh,
sorry to interrupt, but one of the things with Ipswich, because didn't they have back-to-back promotions and they sort of moved too quickly? I think.
Yeah, I think well that was going to be one of the things I was going to say. I think if they get promoted, I think they're in a very good position
I
to
think they'll stay up.
stay up with a manager that's a year older, a year more experienced, a squad that's like more matured as well, because that's a
And
and it.
they have players that understand what it's like to be in the Premier League in that environment. Quickly on that, George, just to ask you, sorry, I know I cut you off. Who do you think has the better chance of survival next season if Ipswich go up? Ipswich or Coventry? And I say that
Oh,
based on the fact that Coventry haven't been in the Premiership for so many years, even though they have got Frank Lampard, where Kieran McKenna, like we just said, will have learned valuable lessons along with the Ipswich players.
I think that
25 years have not been in the Premier League.
I think if I was Frank Lampard, one thing I would definitely be doing in the summer is and I heard an interview with somebody. I think it was Tony Pulis, and he said when he got promoted with Stoke, he phoned one of the relegated managers, Steve Coppell, at Reading, and asked him what it takes to stay in the Premier League. And then he phoned
No, would he? Because
Sir.
he got relegated.
And yeah, no, he would though, because you learn lessons.
Right. Yeah.
And then he phoned Sir Alex, and he said, "Right, Sir
I was
Alex,
just about
what
to say, I'm
would
pretty
be?"
sure he phoned Sir Alex. I remember seeing.
Yeah, he said he phoned two managers. He said he phoned one of the relegated managers to get their view as somebody that's been down, and he said he phoned he phoned Sir Alex because like people at the top usually know how to stay at the top.
Yes.
And Sir Alex's advice, he didn't really say what Steve Coppell's advised. Steve Coppell said don't get complacent, which is great advice.
Yeah,
And Sir Alex said make the Britannia a fortress, which obviously they did.
yes.
Your home ground, yeah.
So what I like about that is he took both pieces of advice and
Which is good to
made
have
that like
both perspectives, I think.
yeah, it's genius. And made that like part of the two focal points of that team. They never ever switched off that Stoke side. They were an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
And
brilliant team, weren't they? Yeah.
and the Britannia was an absolute fortress.
Yeah.
So, getting into what I was saying, if I was Frank Lampard, I would be turning around and I would be phoning a
Pep Guardiola or someone like that.
yeah, and he played for Lampard played for City for a little bit, so he probably would be able to do that. And then I'd be phoning a guy like Scott Parker, who obviously he's played with for England and for Chelsea, and I'd be saying, what I'd be asking those questions because I think that's a great idea. I think in reality, although Frank Lampard has been a Premier League manager, he's not necessarily got a squad of Premier League experience, which Ipswich have. So I think even though I think that Coventry squad has got a bigger ceiling in terms of. Sorry, I think the Coventry squad has got a bigger floor, as in I think that Coventry squad is currently way better than any of the Championship squads, and in my eyes, probably better than some of the relegated. Uh, Definitely, at least Wolves and maybe Burnley, definitely quality wise.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
That's that
I,
flaw, though.
what?
You said that was a flaw. Why is that a flaw?
Yeah, no, the floor, as in floors and ceilings.
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
I thought you meant floor as in. Oh, right.
No,
Oh,
so
okay.
where Coventry are now, I think Coventry are better than
right.
Wolves and Burnley at least.
I thought you meant floor as in F.
What I think,
Right, okay.
where I think Ipswich have got a better situation is because they've had Premier League
They've
experience
been there and
before
done that, haven't they?
in the Premier League, they've got a worse floor, so they're starting off with a weaker team than Coventry, I would say, but
Yeah.
they've got a better ceiling because they've got players with Premier League experience that can grow into the Premier League.
So with all that in mind, who, if they both went up, and we know there's other teams in the reckoning, but if they
Ipswich.
both went up, Ipswich have the better chance of survival.
Yeah,
I would probably
because I
agree with
think
Ipswich as well. Yeah.
I think if we've learned anything, how you grow into a season in the Premier League is much more important than how you start it.
Yes.
Because we have seen previously teams that have started very well and they've come up and tailed off massively.
Yeah.
I think specifically about Blackpool, who were mostly mid-table for the first half of the season and then couldn't buy a win towards the end.
And got relegated on 38 points, which is a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy work. So
And also just a team I'd like to pick out who were in that promotion race for a long time is Middlesbrough, and they obviously
Listen, they are
Lost to Avengers
still in
to
it.
Wolves.
no,
They
sorry, they are still in the promotion race, but they were right at the top with Coventry for a while, and they have dropped off, haven't they?
yeah, did it, I think it's because well, do you know what? I think they started so well when Kim Hellberg first came in. It's not sustainable, not really. It's just that again, like, my belief is this Coventry team is one of the best we've seen in the Championship for a while.
And they had a wobble as well, Coventry, didn't they, in the middle of the season, if I remember rightly?
Well,
They were...
that also, by the way, that shows the strength of character, and it's very easy to say, "Oh, the manager's done well there," but to stop the rot in that situation, and that's true. But it shows the strength of character of the squad as well.
Yeah, I hold my hands up to Frank. I said it was a terrible appointment from Lampard, and all I can say is, Frank, I'm sorry.
No, I think if we're going to sit here and dissect this, which I think we will if we do like a post-season review, I think the thing that's worth saying, and Frank Lampard said himself, he said, you know, the squad was in a bad place when he got there, but they had very, very good foundations.
Yeah.
And that's, I think what, if I was somebody like Frank Lampard who was looking to go into another club, but knowing that like my stock's down a little bit, even though when you look at his management jobs objectively, based on other people that have had that job, he's done very well in the jobs he's had.
I'd say it's done okay.
Okay, we'll say okay. I mean, Derby after him didn't get to a playoff final again unless they do this time. Chelsea had Champions League with an embargo, which is an incredible achievement. But then obviously,
the first season at Chelsea, Lampard did a brilliant job, didn't he? And then unfortunately,
I think
Derby finished sixth the season before he got there. They finished sixth again. Chelsea finished third the season before he got there. They finished fourth.
I think there's no point saying anything about Chelsea because it doesn't matter what the manager did before him because they had money to spend. They didn't have it that first season. No matter
But
what
what I will
anybody,
say
no
is,
matter what anybody says,
he's done a
yeah,
very good job this year.
no matter what anybody says, and I will defend Frank Lampard's first Chelsea season. Absolutely, I think with a squad like that, with no money to bring it in, relying heavily on youth players who, yeah, all right, Mount and Tamori did really good in the Championship, but it doesn't necessarily always translate to the Premier League. Abraham had only had one previous season in the Championship, and he got relegated and scored in the Premier League, and he got relegated and scored 5 goals with Swansea. So, who I didn't mention, by the way, I forgot. One of the teams I completely skipped over was Swansea. But we can talk about them in a minute. They're not that well. To be honest, there's not much to say, which is why I kind of skipped to them. Vitor Matos has done a good job, and Zamva Potnik is probably going to finish top goal scorer in the league, and then leave because I think he's already on about leaving. But yeah, so that's Swansea. So yeah, I think that for me, if I was somebody like Frank Lampard and I was like, right, I need this next job to go well, it's a dream because a manager that was so successful with them in Mark Robbins and built such a good squad was having such a torrid time. I think anything he would have done with that squad would have put him in good stead with the fans.
But yeah, no, I can't say anything.
To do what he's done and the way he's done it, and they've been mostly, from an attacking standpoint, irresistible. It's a huge huge achievement.
And I think he should stay as well.
What, even if they get relegated?
No, I mean stay next season.
Yeah, because I have seen a couple of shouts of, oh well, Chelsea need a new manager.
No, I think going back to Chelsea would be a mistake. I think for Frank.
Well,
Okay.
I think he already knows. He already knows that. I laughed because I saw that Pochettino was on the overlap, and he was asked about what the plan was for Chelsea. He said they do have a plan, but he couldn't really explain to them what the plan is. So that sort of sums it up. I think that he kind of knows that Blueco and the current guys aren't going to do anything, aren't where they should be. So yeah, we've spent ages talking about the championship, which means
We just
I'm
quickly talk about the Super Saints and how Southampton
oh,
up
it's ridiculous. It's
were after the sacking. Sorry, up to the sacking of Will Still were around the relegation places, just above maybe, and they've gone all the way and went on a up until the Man City game.
I
Went
was
on a
so gutted. I
20.
was so gutted that.
Yeah, they went on a 20 game unbeaten run, winning 16 and drawing 4, um, which is at any level of football is
That's
unbelievable.
absolutely brilliant.
yeah, they've
Tender Eckhart in his first managerial job. What a job!
it's funny as well because again, talking about interviews, I see a lot of interviews with like managerial people because that's just the sort of thing I like. I saw an interview with Will Still earlier on today actually, and he said um, that he just ran out of time, and the you know, he ran out of time to do what he wanted to do, and the first comment underneath it was, well, the guy who succeeded you didn't need very much time, did he? And it's like that sums it up,
Well,
really.
yeah,
What he's done is fantastic there, and
yeah.
they're a great
To
side.
get them to an FA Cup semi final.
I know that I wasn't going to ask for any predictions, but if I was going to predict a team to win the playoffs, I would say it is Southampton. I think they're best placed.
Yeah, I mean the playoffs do funny things, but
Do they have Premier League
yeah,
experience? Southampton's current squad.
What
some
was the
of it
question?
is.
Have they got Premier League experience?
Yeah, Taylor Harwood Bellis,
Oh, he's still
Jack
there.
Jack
Stevens,
Right. Okay.
Jack Stevens,
uh,
Armstrong has a bit of Premier League
Oh,
experience.
right. Yeah.
not there, not there.
No,
He's at
not
Wolves.
Armstrong. Yeah, he's gone, and he's sorry. Um, yeah,
Ross
there's a few
Stewart
there.
played in the Prem.
Ross
Uh,
Stewart.
Flynn Downs, I think, is still there. He
Yeah,
obviously played
yeah.
in the Prem.
What happened to our mate? That went there at the start of the season. Oreo Romeo. He didn't play.
Um, I don't know. Although
Because
I
we
did
made
think,
we,
yeah, we made a big song and dance about that when that was happening. Yeah,
I'm
and
not
quite
seen.
rightly, by the way, because he was a great player for them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not seen. Not seen. Who do we think then finally in the championship will get into the playoffs?
I think, I actually think that Wrexham miss out. I think
Yeah,
Wrexham miss out. I think Middlesbrough will want it more.
yeah.
I think Wrexham miss
Would
out,
Wrexham not
and
want
I
it
think
more though because they're trying to keep the good.
yeah. But if Middlesbrough have got to win to keep themselves within a shout of going up automatically,
Okay, right, fair enough.
You could say that Middlesbrough have the safety net of the playoffs, where Wrexham don't.
You could, but what would you rather do? Play a few more games to get into the Premier League, or
What would you rather do? Have a shot of getting in the Premier League or no shot at all?
I'd rather just fucking do it. I'd rather put everything into one last game to go up, to give myself the best chance to go up automatically, than fanny about in the playoffs.
Okay, so you think Wrexham miss out and Hull and or who takes their place?
I think Hull, but only because I think, but they are an unpredictable team. But my opinion is Hull, and then I think no matter what happens, I think Southampton win the playoffs.
An automatic promotion?
I think automatic promotion is Coventry and Ipswich.
Will, your opinion?
I'm probably going to go for the same in terms of automatic promotion, because Ipswich have been in the Premier League before. They've sort of been there and done that, and Southampton to win the playoffs, I think.
And how about to get in? You think Wrexham will get in the playoffs?
Yes, I do think so. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think Wrexham will get in the playoffs, and I think that you know what? I'm gonna say Southampton miss out on getting to the Premier League, and Middlesbrough finish in the playoffs and get into the Premier League. I've just got a funny feeling.
That's
Anyway,
interesting. That's interesting.
we'll
Right,
see.
we're gonna move on to League One. We've been talking about the Championship for absolutely ages, so we're gonna speed this up.
Go on then, buddy. I'll be back in a second, so you'll speed it up.
Bottom four currently is relegated Northampton, Rotherham, Port Vale, and yet to be relegated Exeter. Still with some, it's a straight shootout between two teams tomorrow. Leighton Orient, if they don't win, can go down.
They were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, it's been a really strange season for them. And also Exeter currently are in the relegation zone and have to win to give themselves the best chance. From a relegation point of view, that is literally all there is. It's two teams. Leighton Orient face Burton at home, and Exeter face a tricky tie at home with Bradford, the visitors. Exeter's season was pretty much completely derailed by Gary Caldwell leaving for Wigan. That leaves them. They brought back Matt Taylor, who I think when he left Exeter in the first place a few years ago to go to Rotherham, and then went to Bristol City and did this, that, and the other. Bristol Rovers, sorry, he really damaged his reputation. It hasn't quite worked out since he's got there. And yeah, if we're going to say who do I think is going to get relegated to League Two, I would say Exeter. A word on the relegated sides. Northampton finished bottom on 35 points. They're currently on 35 points, but they can't be like none of them. They can't catch up to any of the other teams. They'll finish bottom no matter what. Kevin Nolan had a very weird managerial tenure there where they were mostly poor, but would then have a few stretches of games where they would do just about enough to keep themselves in and around the kind of safety. since he's left, they've completely fallen off a cliff.
Right.
Like it's been pretty terrible. Rotherham suffer relegation into League Two as well. They obviously had firstly Matt Hamshaw as manager. It wasn't going great for them. They brought in Matt Lawler. He seemed to be doing okay, but then again, it went sour for some reason. Then one of the weirdest managerial appointments I've seen for a while, bringing in Lee Clark after a good sort of 8 or 9 years away from EFL football. He didn't have the desired effect, and Rotherham relegated. Very, very strange how they've gone from a yo-yo League One to Championship club who would always, always dominate at League One level to absolutely cut adrift towards the bottom of League One. Supposedly, I read the owner the other day said that they're not going to change their football operations model no matter what. Like, they believe in what they're doing is the right way to do things. Fair enough. We'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting one. Port Vale relegated. Darren Moore.
Hey, wait, get rid of the shitty Vale. Take that, you rubbish. Yeah,
Darren
get
Moore
them.
could
Go
not.
out of business.
Darren Moore could not save the Valiants, and neither could John Brady. Although I think it's pretty similar to Matt Bloomfield in he's actually found a way to inject that Vale squad with a lot of come on, I'm trying to do correct journalism here, Jason. You're letting me down.
I don't care. Don't like the fuckers.
Boo. He's injected a lot of spirit into that squad, and they battled hard to fight against relegation.
He can inject them with liquidation, as far as I'm concerned.
And they just run out of time. If I was them, I mean, I'm not going to say I hope they stick with them because I don't really hope anything for the Vale. But I am going to say that if I was Carol Shanahan,
I do liquidation.
I would stick with John Brady because he's managed successful teams in League One, in League Two before.
Oh, come on, mate. You've got to say you'd love them to get liquidated.
I'm not saying nobody wants that for any club, mate.
Yeah, we do for them.
I know some Vale fans as well, so I can't really say.
Who cares? I know some Vale fans as well, and all I can say is, just get stuffed.
You're really terrible. You're terrible.
Come on, world doesn't have any followers anyways.
Dear me.
So yeah, no, it's 75 subscribers.
He's on 75 now. He's getting close to 100.
And that's taken 75 years, not one per year.
We're actually 91 years old.
Yeah.
It feels like the number of years since you last appeared on this show.
In fact, no, 26 plus 75 is 101, so we'd be 100. We're 101 years on. Continuing on because we're getting off topic. All I'm going to mention here is teams with things to play for.
Oh, good. Get rid of the Vale. Good.
From third till fifth, they are completely secure. Is that correct? I should check. Actually, no. I suppose it depends. Okay, so we'll say from third, from obviously top is that incredible Lincoln side under Michael Scabala. We'll give them their flowers in a
Really
moment.
happy for them. Really happy.
Second place is Cardiff, who looked like they were going to dominate the league even more than Lincoln ended up doing, and have dropped off in bits and pieces. But again, an immediate return to the championship and a very good job done by BBM Brian Barry Murphy.
How many
So
go up automatically? Two, and then
two,
same as the championship, yeah.
yeah,
BBM, I
And
like
then
that.
and then third till sixth in the playoffs.
yeah, that's right. That's right, Jason. Thanks for that. Um, so we won't discuss the third place team because no matter what happens, they are safe. That's Bolton. They can't drop out at all. But fourth till eighth all have things to play for. So we'll start at the bottom of those piles of that pile with Plymouth Argyle with 70 points. They can get in. They have to win to be in with a shout. Similarly with Luton, they are 1 point behind sixth placed Stevenage, who've got 72 points. Luton with 71. They have to win. They could draw, but they've got the same. Let's check the goal difference. Actually, oh, it doesn't really. Oh, it doesn't tell you. Oh, yeah, it does. So they could win. They could draw, and Stevenage lose and get in. Interesting. Okay, it's going to be a very interesting. By the looks of it, it's going to be very interesting. So, we'll simplify it though. Luton have to win to stay in. They've got a better goal difference than Bradford as well in fifth, and they've got the same goal difference as Stockport in fourth, which would put them on 74 points with at least a goal difference of 11, which would mean that Luton would finish, depending on how Stockport do, either fourth or fifth. But obviously, Bradford have got work to do as well. Stevenage need to win to secure their spot, and Bradford and Stockport will be okay so long as they draw. Obviously, it might be that they don't even need to do that, depending on results, but a draw would secure them the playoffs absolutely. So, let's talk about fixtures tomorrow and who is playing against who and what is there to look out for. Uh, Stevenage host Wigan, who are rejuvenated under Gary Caldwell. Tricky tie, but they're doing very well at kind of those scrappy wins that where sometimes you might think, oh God, I don't know how they're going to win that, and then they do. The main one to look out for, really, of all of this is Bolton host Luton. So Bolton, who are already secure in the playoffs, will be hosting Luton, and I sincerely mean this. I hope that Luton get in, but we'll see what happens there. Really,
Bolton might be already on the beach.
yeah. Well, could be, could be, could be for sure. What do we think then? Do we think that that third to sixth group of Bolton, Bradford, Stockport, Stevenage is going to stay as it is? Do we think that either one of Plymouth or Luton can creep in?
I think Stevenage will miss out.
And who do you think creeps in?
Luton.
Interesting. I kind of feel the same way.
What are you thinking, Will?
I don't ask me on League One because I don't really know that. My knowledge doesn't really extend that far, really, generally.
Fantastic answer, Will.
Well,
Fantastic.
he's foot that straight off, and he's like, no, don't even bother with me.
Mhm.
No,
Fine then.
I just have to be honest. As soon as you get down further from the championship, that's all the limit of my knowledge.
Will has literally just gone, fuck off, don't ask me, fuck you, is what Will's just done there. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Right.
Mhm.
So,
Who do you think wins the playoffs then, Jordan?
um,
Stockport, maybe, as they've been there and thereabouts the last few years.
I would really like Bolton to do it. Excuse me. Whether they do or not, I'm not sure. But I would really, really like Bolton to do it.
I'd like to see Stockport do it, to be honest. I think it'd be good for a Northwest team to. I know Bolton are as well,
Bolton's
but
a Northwest team, you knob.
I think I did correct myself. Um, but yeah, I think Stockport have had difficult times, and be good to see them go up to the championship.
Yeah. Me personally, I like, to be honest, you can make a case for any of those clubs going up, really. Bradford are a massive club. I would love to see them in the championship. You know, Stockport have been there or thereabouts for a while, like you said. What an absolute fairy tale it would be if Stevenage were to do it, or even if Plymouth Argyle was to get in after the season they've had. I personally, I would like Bolton to do it the most, but I think any of the teams that either are in the playoff places currently or could still do it, I would be intrigued to see them in. I would be intrigued to see them in the championship next year. And I know
Do,
that's a bit of a sit on the fence answer, but it's a mix of
do,
big clubs and really interesting stories as well.
do yeah, I presume Tom Cleverley is still there at Plymouth, yeah.
Yeah, what the hell kind of an amazing job has he done?
So he survived all the because he was under severe pressure. They were near the bottom of the league, weren't they, for a while?
Yeah, he's just brilliant. Really, really brilliant. Like really genuinely fun, just absolutely fantastic. Shall we move on to League
Yep.
Two?
Just ask. Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is it 4 teams that go down from League One? Yeah.
Yes. And
There's three.
we already talked about Exeter and Leighton Orient, which are the two.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I think it's. I think it. Did you say who? Did you say is Matt Taylor in charge of Exeter?
Exeter, which is obviously where we left
I
years ago.
I'll tell you a quick funny story about Matt Taylor. When he was the Bristol Rovers manager, and they played Crewe in
That was
league.
his
It,
first game, wasn't it?
it might have been. I can't remember if it was a cup match or
He battered
if
us
it was.
4-1. Ah, yeah, it was in the FA Cup.
Yeah,
They absolutely battered us.
yeah. And I was there, and I was sat right behind Matt Taylor, literally where the dugouts are, which I love because I love watching the manager's antics. And he was appealing for everything. He was appealing for every throw. He was practically on the pitch, not staying in his dugout. And he turned round at one point and faced me, and I went, You think you're Billy Elliot, Taylor? And he just stared at me
Oh, dearie me.
I
because he
don't
was
get it. Why are you saying he thought he was Billy Elliot?
because he was moving because he was hopping around his technical area and spinning round and arms in the air
I
I
tell you
know.
what,
like
Sam,
Billy
you have balls. I certainly wouldn't have the balls to do anything like that.
No, I've heard some stuff. I've heard, you know, you do at lower league rounds, don't you? Sam will tell you. You hear all sorts of shit. People saying stuff that you wouldn't dream of saying to opposition players, managers.
No, I would never say anything that I would regret. I never ever say anything severely insulting, but a little bit of banter like that is no problem.
So, speaking of crew, we'll move on to League Two. The current bottom two is Barrow on 36 points, and Harrogate Town who are level with Crawley Town on 39 points, but Crawley Town have got 4 better goal difference. So
So
we'll start from there.
Barrow,
Barrow are pretty much down.
but not
They
mathematically.
they need, let's say they win and Harrogate lose, they would still be bottom. They need a 6-goal swing on Harrogate and a 8-goal swing on Crawley, but only a 2-goal swing on Newport, who they can't catch anyway because Newport are 4 points away from them. So Barrow pretty much down. In fact,
Yeah,
I think it's pretty safe to say, because there's no way they're going to get an 8-goal positive swing. I think it's safe to say Barrow relegated. So that's what we will say. The two teams on 39, Harrogate, as I said, and Crawley. Then you've got Newport on 40 points and Tranmere on 40 points. And that's as far as we'll go for the relegation.
Crawley, get them down.
So what we'll do is, moving away from what we just did, is we'll look at I've just dropped my phone. That's no good, is it? We'll look at the fixtures, because there's only 1 point separating Harrogate, Crawley, Newport, and Tranmere.
I hope Newport stay up. I was there when Christine Fuchs when we played Crew, and Christine Fuchs, who's a former Leicester
Yeah, I've just
Leicester
playing
winning
another
title
football
winner.
player from Leicester.
I don't know if you were
Oh,
there. Don't know if you were there that game, George. Um, against against when we played Newport, finished 2-2, I think, and
no, I watched it on the telly.
and all game I was going Fuchs, Fuchs, we love you, Fuchs,
So
because
I'm going to interrupt and say there's some very, very tasty games for the teams in the relegation zone, in and around the relegation zone, and in and around the playoffs.
Fuchs.
Tranmere host Grimsby.
Oh.
Grimsby, of course, in the playoffs, but could still drop out. So
Former,
interesting indeed.
led by former Railway manager David Arter.
Correct. Harrogate host,
Also, Man United Slayer.
yes. Harrogate host Barnet, who Barnet also in the hunt for the playoffs.
Something you
Uh,
need that, George. A Barnet haircut.
so Barnet could slip into the playoffs depending on what happens, but we'll talk about in a little bit. Crawley hosts Salford. Salford need to win to give themselves a chance of automatic promotion. That's not an easy game. And then the absolute kicker box office for me tomorrow is Barrow hosting Newport County.
Barrow who are bottom, yeah.
They may be relegated, but they've got a lot to say.
Actually, they're not. They're not relegated. They're all but relegated.
Not mathematically, but they're not going to win and get an 8-goal swing. Surely not.
Well,
Unless they win, and unless they win by, let's say, 1 or 2 goals, and Salford beat Crawley 7-0.
now that'd be funny, wouldn't it? I would.
It would certainly be interesting, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
go on.
I'm going to hang my hat and say that the bottom 2 remains as it is.
That's Barrow and
Harrogate.
Harrogate.
I think Crawley get beat. I think Harrogate get beat. I think Newport. Well, they can draw, win. They can draw, win, or lose. Because if everybody else loses, they're fine anyway. I think Tranmere. I'm going to say draw, but obviously, I can see that. I can see all of the teams in and around it getting beaten, apart from maybe Newport. Because all the teams they're playing have got, they've got things on it. So we'll leave it at that. I genuinely think it's Harrogate and Barrow. I'd be quite sad. I'm not really got many thoughts on Barrow, but I'd be quite sad to see Harrogate go, because it's such a small club and they've done so well over the years to keep themselves in and around the Football League. That it's not the sort of thing that I'd like. I wouldn't like them to go.
Yeah. Well, let's hope Crawley end up crawling back to Crawley.
Moving on to the playoffs and automatic promotion, because that's not actually 100% confirmed either. Currently affected is 9th till 3rd. As it stands, MK Dons, if things remain the same, will be champions. They're top with 85. Bromley with 84. They're both promoted, obviously. It's just a straight...
to let you know, 3 get promoted from that league. And the playoffs is for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Thanks, Jason.
No worries, Ed.
I've lost a train of thought. So they're promoted. It's a straight shootout, actually, between 3 teams and not 2, like I've just said, because Notts County could get promoted automatically as well. So, talk about automatic promotion solely right now. The teams involved are Cambridge in 3rd currently with 81. They are travelling to our beloved Crew Alexandra tomorrow. We will both be there.
We will. I'm disappointed the way we've tailed off, but yeah,
that's for our season review. I think, because we could spend quite a while talking about our beloved Crew.
There's always next year.
Salford are 4th, as we said. They are away at Crawley Town. They've got 80 points and need to win to give themselves the best chance. Similarly, Martin Patterson's Notts County host Bristol Rovers, which is a tricky game, but we will see. So, just talking about automatic promotion.
Okay.
Just talking about automatic promotion. Do we think that Cambridge win tomorrow and keep themselves and get themselves promoted, or do we think Salford or Notts County could creep in?
Got a funny feeling that Salford are going to do it this
You
time.
think so? You think it's you think it's going to be the man? You think it's going to be Carl Robinson and Salford? Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I don't like Carl Robinson. I'm not
No,
saying I don't. Not saying I don't like him. I don't like his antics. He thinks he's Harry Potter on the touchline, but there we go. Carry on.
he was a cock, and he was like when he was at Oxford. Oh my god, that COVID year when he was saying like basically we faked having COVID and all this, and we said we had positive tests when we didn't. Like, oh, what a dick!
Oh, it's
Like,
good to
nah,
see no
dickhead, mate.
love lost for him then between you two.
No,
No, dick. Well, the thing
but
is,
he did bring Dele Alli through, so
Sam wasn't a match going fan at that point, so I don't think he dislikes him as much as I do. But I've
no.
got a serious dislike for the guy. Like, what a dick! I remember I was that upset that when we beat them, and I don't use social media a lot, or when we beat them, I posted the result on my, like, I think I put it on all my social medias, my Instagram, my Facebook,
Oh, you
and
must have
everything,
been
and I was
feeling
like,
in a good mood.
I said, oh yeah, good to come back from Oxford with a positive result, like a COVID jab. It was a proper, like, it was a proper cheap dig, but it really fucked me off.
Oh dear
Did
me.
was that was the year we got promoted? Yeah.
No, that was the year we were already in League One, so it was the year that was all no fans.
Oh, when we finished 12th. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then got
so
relegated the next season.
he's a cock. I think they'll do it as well. I really hope the Alex can upset the apple cart a bit for Cambridge, although I want them to succeed as well because I quite like them, and they've got a few cool Alex players like Elliot Nevitt, Boo, and the most shit player I've ever seen play for the Alex, Ben Knight, who's turned into the second coming of Jesus in League Two this year. Um,
Did he
uh,
also play for? Oh no, I'm thinking of Jason Knight that played for
again,
Bournemouth.
you kind of, it was shortly before you were coming to matches and stuff, but Ben Knight was crap. It was awful. He'd come on loan from City. He had dyed blonde hair, which I can't say too much about because so did I. But at the time, no, actually at the time I didn't. But I have had dyed blonde hair before. So we think then, or me and Sam have come to the conclusion, because Will decided that he doesn't want to get involved with League One and League Two, that Salford are going to be the ones to be automatically promoted. What do we think then about the playoffs? Currently,
Who's automatically already in the playoffs anyway?
automatically in the playoffs, as in can't drop out.
Yeah.
Cambridge, Salford, Notts County, and Grimsby are probably safe as well, because yeah, Grimsby. So okay, I'll just reiterate that. Cambridge, Salford, Notts County, and Grimsby are all confirmed playoffs.
I can see that. I can see it being. Who did you say is just outside the playoffs trying to get in?
Oh, actually, no. Hang on. So Cambridge, Salford, Notts County are confirmed. Grimsby could drop out based if Swindon win and Chesterfield win, but Grimsby lose. Grimsby will drop out. So Yeah. So Grimsby, Chesterfield, Swindon, and Barnet all need results.
As well as the team that we're playing.
Yeah. And even then, if Barnet win, they've only got 2 goal difference better on Chesterfield, so they'd have to win and make sure that they've got a better result goal difference wise than Chesterfield.
Remind me who we're playing tomorrow, because with all these teams.
We're playing Cambridge.
And they can still get in, yeah?
They're secure in the playoffs, and they are currently the third place team, so they're currently in the automatic promotion place, but need to win to secure it.
Right, okay. Okay.
So because just for a bit of behind the scenes background for everybody watching, Will's just had to cut out maybe 10 minutes of footage because we went on a right tangent based on Cambridge player Ben Knight. So instead of talking about going in depth on the teams, I just want some predictions. So, who do you think is going to be automatically promoted? We've said Salford.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the playoffs then? Let's go on the basis that you've said Salford. Do you think either Swindon or Barnet, Swindon in 8th and Barnet in 9th, do you think either of them get into the playoffs?
No.
No. So out of the 4 that we've both got, which is Cambridge, Notts County, Grimsby, Chesterfield, who would you prefer, or who is your pick to go up?
I think Grimsby might do it.
I personally, for Dave Artell, would quite like Grimsby to do it.
Who do you think will do it? And who do you think will be in the playoff?
Well, I agree with you, so I think that 7 stays the same. The only thing that I could possibly see is Ian Holloway's Swindon getting in over Chesterfield.
Yeah, they're Swindon are, yeah, because Swindon are already in the playoffs now, aren't they?
No, they dropped out.
Right, okay. I see.
So if you think, let's just go with what you've said, that the current playoff teams stay the same apart from Salford. So it's Cambridge, Notts County, Grimsby, Chesterfield. You think you'd like Dave Artell to do it, or you think that Dave Artell and Grimsby will do it?
I think they will do it.
You think they will do it?
Who do you think?
I think if it's out of those 4 teams, I think Cambridge have probably got the most about them. I think if it stays those 4 teams, I think it is going to be Cambridge that goes up.
Yeah.
Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to that very overinflated EFL section. Now it's time for me to go to bed and to also pass over to Mr. Sam Taylor for the Premier League results.
Thank you, Jordan. Please do stay to the end, buddy.
I can't be asked. Anyway, go on.
In the Premier League, so we start a week ago on Friday night, Friday the 24th of April, and at the Stadium of Light, which has been a fortress for newly promoted Sunderland. It was certainly not the Stadium of Light on this night, as it finished Sunderland 0, Nottingham Forest 5. Your goal scorers, Trey Hume starting the scoring off with an own goal in the 17th minute before it all went downhill for Sunderland as relegation threatened Nottingham Forest hit them for 5. Chris Wood in the 31st minute. Morgan Gibbs White in the 34th minute, and Igor Jesus in the 37th minute completed a disastrous spell towards the end of the first half for Sunderland before a really emotional goal for Elliot Anderson. As for the game, Forest absolutely destroyed Sunderland. And also pulled further clear from 18th place. Tottenham helped in no part by the fact that they were playing first on this Friday night. Sunderland, it's been a great season, maybe just tailed off in recent weeks, but a mid-table finish for a team that were newly promoted and an unproven manager at this level has been fantastic, especially as the bottom three in the last two seasons have been the teams that came up from the championship. So nice to see Sunderland break that mould. Right, Arsenal played Newcastle, a very nervy Arsenal team at the minute, but they got the job done while City were in FA Cup action. That's Man City to go back top of the table. They finished Arsenal 1, Newcastle 0 at the Emirates Stadium. A goal, a brilliant strike from outside the box after a well-worked corner by Eberi Eze in the 9th minute. Saw it finish. So sorry, mate.
Is it not Eberici essay?
You can say either.
Okay.
So in the 9th minute, which saw Arsenal win. It wasn't pretty. It was backs to the wall for a large part of the second half, but they got the job done. After recent disappointments have let City back into the title race, but Arsenal won, Newcastle United 0. My partner here, Eddie Howe, we are struggling right now, but all will be okay at the end of the season.
It'll be all right, Jason. Have some faith.
Yep. Right, we move on to Molineux, where, of course, relegated Wolves, that was confirmed a couple of weeks ago. They faced the team in the relegation zone, a massive shock this season as they took on Tottenham Hotspur, desperate for any kind of win after a 2-2 draw against Brighton in their previous game showed positive signs. They were uninspiring, uninventive, I thought, and probably a bit lucky here to come away with the 3 points, but that's all that matters. João Palhinha, who has had an up and down season, coming off the bench to score in the 82nd minute to keep Spurs' slim hopes, and I can't believe I'm saying that, slim hopes as it stands, of staying in the Premier League alive. Just to reiterate as well, they lost Dominic Solanke to injury.
And Simmons, he's finished for this season.
Yeah, most notably, Xabi Simons is one of their only creative players left after injuries to Madison Kulusevski this season. Bergval's been in and out, so they are really starting to suffer, especially at the top end of the pitch, where it might be goals or it will be goals and wins that keep them up. So despite
absolutely under the cosh, under the cosh Spurs.
Yeah,
absolutely under the cosh.
So despite the win, I actually feel worse about Spurs' prospects than I did before the match.
Well,
anyway,
I mean, they were lucky, weren't they? Really,
Yeah, but it is a first win in what, 12 games, 11 games, so since the turn of the year, anyways.
Don't forget
So,
that.
yeah, Molyneux, Wolverhampton Wanderers nil, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Their fight goes on for now. And another denting thing for them, not that was obviously the Forest result, but also a team that looked like they were going to draw at one point in this game to take Tottenham out of the relegation zone and place West Ham in it, as West Ham United at the London Stadium faced Everton, the return of David Moyes, and what a topsy-turvy this game was, because it was 0-0 in the Spurs game on the other side, which helped West Ham as well and probably boosted their confidence, as Thomas Souček, who is a man for the big occasion, came out in the second half and scored in the 51st minute. The equaliser came, though, in dramatic late fashion by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to briefly send Tottenham out of the relegation zone and plunge their London rivals in it. West Ham, however, super sub, and that's what he is. He's a proper goal scorer. Callum Wilson came off the bench to win it for the Hammers. What could be a hammer blow for Tottenham. And that was in the 92nd minute. What a few minutes that was, especially with Palhinha's goal coming just before the equaliser for Everton as well. So all
Watching it on. Sorry to interrupt. Were you watching it on Soccer Saturday?
No, I was listening to it on the radio actually.
It was carnage on Soccer Saturday. It was absolute carnage. It was good.
So what it means is West Ham stayed 2 points above Spurs in the battle to stay up. Yeah, so a vital, precious win for West Ham here. Liverpool, who have been better in recent weeks, in both results and performances, played Crystal Palace at Anfield, and in what could have been a very tricky game, Liverpool came through with flying colours. Goals from Alexander Isak, who's been injured for much of the season, I think will, as well as not having a proper pre-season, so I think we'll see the best of him next season. Scoring in the 35th minute. Andy Robertson on his farewell tour for Liverpool, scoring a very popular goal, one of the greatest players they have had in recent times, scoring in the 40th minute. They were 2-0 up. Briefly, Daniel Munoz did pull one back for Crystal Palace, scoring in the 71st minute. I think there was some controversy as to whether the ball had gone out or not before the goal, but it was given before one of the most disappointing players this season, but has shown shoots of life recently. Florian Wirtz secured the win for Liverpool in the 96th minute. So to ease some pressure on Arne Slot. One subplot in this match was that Mo Salah came off injured and looked very emotional, as he thought his season might be over, but Arne Slot reckons he will be back before the end of the season, so the Liverpool great might be able to put the Liverpool shirt on once again, whether at home, who knows, but yeah, it certainly would have been a sad end for one of Liverpool's greatest in the Premier League's greatest ever players. Right, moving on we go, and in the battle for Europe, of course, Villa trying to go for a Champions League spot and Fulham trying to get into any form of Europe. It finished at Craven Cottage in a vital win for the home team. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 0. The goal coming in the 43rd minute, so right on half time. A goal from one of their own, Ryan Sessegnon, who's a player I really, really like, actually. Good to see him playing well and regularly. Massive result for Fulham. Another manager out of contracts at the end of the season, Marco Silva. Not really heard. We've heard from Glasgow, we've heard from Andoni Iraola boys, but we've not really heard from Marco Silva about whether he's going to sign a new one. No.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. I think he's done incredibly well to stabilise them.
Yeah.
But what does he do? What's the future for him? Is interesting because
Fulham, I think, to be honest.
not a lot's been said, has it? Not a
No,
lot at all.
no, and considering he's out of contract end of the season, maybe he's waiting to see if they get into Europe. But yeah, wonderful job he's done. I've actually changed my opinion on Marco Silva a bit. I thought he was very quick to move jobs and didn't necessarily behave the right way in the early part of his career.
But I think now he's older, isn't he?
But now he's matured. He turned down Saudi Arabia to manage there, which I thought he was going to take it, and he didn't. So fair play to him. He's been
Turned him down a few times as well, didn't he? Saudi,
yeah,
not just once.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times, I think. So fair play to him. Yeah, and I think a really good manager. I used to think he was a good manager, but quite sulky. But he's done me wrong. He's proved me wrong. Right, less Premier League fixtures this week because, of course, of the FA Cup and Leeds and Chelsea and Man City's involvement in that competition. It finished on Monday Night Football in a very entertaining Monday Night Football at Old Trafford. In the next few years will be New Trafford, but for now it's still Old Trafford. It finished Manchester United 2, European chasing Brentford 1. Casemiro, give him one more year. A few years ago, I was saying he was finished, but please give him one more year. Please stay, Casemiro. Change your mind. You've been brilliant this season, son. Scoring a header in the 11th minute, followed by a goal in a very end-to-end first half. Benjamin Sesko, who's shown some promise recently, scoring in the 43rd minute. Brentford were arguably the better side in that first half. Thiago missing some unbelievable chances, which is unlike him, which I was happy he missed because I'm a United fan, but also he was in my fantasy football. And for those of you that don't know, Will is currently leading our little fantasy football league despite not taking much interest, which is very annoying to me. But anyway, United then went to a back 5 second half. We've heard that before, but it worked. It shored us up until Matthias Jensen scored a late goal for Brentford in the 87th minute. It was a bit nervy, but we hung on. Probably a draw would have been a fair result in this game, but I'll take the win. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, and what a season Brentford have had. Right, before we wrap up, I will, as it was semi-final stage, just let you know what the FA Cup scores were from the weekend, because I think it would be sad to not include them.
Yes,
and we'll go to our semi-finals in the April fixtures in the semi-finals. Let me just get them up. Right, here we go. So it finished at Wembley on Saturday in a very entertaining game. Southampton of the Championship took on all-conquering Manchester City, and it was a really interesting game. Southampton soaked up a lot of pressure and hit on the counter-attack, similar to what they did against Arsenal. And City had a lot of the ball and had some chances, but Southampton putting their bodies on the line. The players, you could tell they'd won a lot of games. And that was rewarded, that patient play, with an amazing goal, a brilliant strike from outside the box. Don't know if you watched it, Joe, but it reminded me a bit of Yuri Tillemans' goal.
No, I was busy.
That won the final for Leicester a few years ago against Chelsea of all teams. Sorry to bring that up, George. Anyway, Finn Azaz was the goal scorer of that goal. And he scored in the 79th minute. Before Man City did what Man City do, Jeremy Doku scoring 3 minutes later in the 82nd minute. Before the one-time Southampton players didn't close him down, a worldie from Nico Gonzalez to win it for Man City and book their place at Wembley
Gutting for
again.
Southampton. Really gutting.
Yeah, but still could be a great season. For in the second semi-final, it was Chelsea, and they played Leeds United. Quite a boring game, this one. Chelsea under their caretaker manager to the end of the season, Callum McFarlane. If you've heard his name before, is because he did take over when Enzo Maresca was sacked earlier in the season. So, after Liam Rossini's dismissal, really gutted about that, but just didn't work out. Just because you've got to respect the ball. Anyway, Enzo Fernandez scoring, the much maligned Enzo Fernandez for his comments recently, scoring in the 23rd minute. Leeds huffed and puffed in the second half, but could not find an equaliser. So it is an all Premier League final as Manchester City will take on Chelsea in a couple of weeks.
And Callum
time.
McFarlane, he's drawn. He drew against City, didn't he? When he took interim
Yes.
charge, I think. Yeah.
Will McFarlane get a McCup? We will see. Anyway, what a story that'll be. That's enough of the bad jokes. Right, it's been a very long show.
We'll let Will take us home, eh?
And
well, thank you very much to Jordan Ellen and Sam Taylor. Thank you guys.
You're welcome, mate.
No worries, you just cut me off, but no problem.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Carry on, you shit house.
If you want to, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel. And join us next week.
75 subscribers now, mate. You're in the big time.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Are you sure? Oh my god, I've just looked. It's actually minus 75.
Oh, piss lot. Right, anyway, join us next time when we'll do it all without having kicked the ball. Goodbye.
Oh, I like that. Goodbye.
Bye.